Y'all saying LMAO, Tay Keith. Wait, what?
Cause they funny, bro.
Tay Keith passed away?
No, I don't know. There's no way.
Nigga, they saying R.I.P. Tay Keith.
Are you serious?
I don't know. He did? Y'all.
Say on behalf of, Warner Chapel, Big John, myself, the entire company, just wanted to come down, let you know how proud of you we are. You're setting a positive example for people to follow you. We couldn't be more proud of you. It says a lot about the man you were raised to be, just committing to something and sticking to it. You sat in our office from day one and told us that you was going to graduate. You did it. This is great, but this is your biggest number one right here.
Shocking, sad news tonight is rocking the entire hip-hop industry. Legendary Grammy-nominated producer Tay Keith has tragically passed away at the age of 29. According to Metro Nashville police, the musical genius was found dead in his apartment Thursday, following a routine welfare check. Authorities said the official cause of his sudden death is unclear at this time, but they confirmed there were no signs of foul play. If you've listened to rap music in the past decade, Tay Keith was the man behind the soundtrack of your life. Born Brytavious Chambers, he was the master architect behind some of our generation's biggest global hits. We're talking Travis Scott's iconic Sicko Mode, Trembly, Drake's viral hit Non-Stop, and Blockboy JB's Look Alive. He even produced the iconic bonus track, Before I Let Go, on Beyoncé's live album, Homecoming. More recently, he played a key role in Sexy I Red's explosive rise, producing her breakthrough hit, Pound Town. The music world has lost an irreplaceable legend too soon. Rest in peace, Tay Keith.
Nashville, Tennessee. Thursday, June 18, 2025. It was an ordinary afternoon. Until it wasn't. Metro Nashville police officers arrived at a Martin Street apartment building to conduct a welfare check. Someone had grown worried. Something felt off. The kind of quiet that doesn't sit right. When they got inside, they found him. Unresponsive. Gone. No struggle. No scene. Just silence. The man lying there had produced chart-topping records for Drake, Travis Scott, Beyoncé, and Eminem. His beats had played at sold-out arenas, on red carpets, and in the ears of millions of people across the world. He had 2 Grammy nominations, a Forbes 30 Under 30 feature, and a career that was still climbing. His name was Brytavious Chambers, but the world knew him as Tay Keith. He was 29 years old, and here's the part that nobody can fully explain yet. How does a man at the very top of his game end up found alone, with no answers and no warning? Before we go any further, where are you watching from right now? Drop your city or your country in the comments. This story touched people all over the world, and I want to know where our community is coming from. And if you're new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and stay with me, because this story, you need to hear all of it.
Yes, sir.
And, I do a little beats too myself. I do a little sampling.
Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up.
Yeah.
Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up. Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up. Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up.
Oh, why you stopping my shit?
Oh man,
that was the song I made.
Fuck that boy whole joint up.
No, he was feeling that shit. He trying to see. He want that sample. He might take my sample, throw it in the song.
He don't want that fuck.
To understand this story, you first need to understand where Tay Keith came from. Memphis, Tennessee is not an easy city to grow up in. It's a city with deep roots. Musically, culturally, historically. It gave the world blues, soul, and a brand of hip-hop that hits differently from anywhere else. But Memphis also has another side. Poverty, hardship. A city where a lot of young people with big dreams never make it out. Brytavious Keith Chambers was born into that world. From a young age, he had one thing that kept pulling him forward: music. Not just listening to it, making it. As a teenager, he started building beats on his own, teaching himself the craft, developing a sound that was dark, heavy, and impossible to ignore. While other kids his age were doing other things, he was locked in, working, creating, pushing himself every single day. He wasn't waiting for someone to give him a chance. He was building one. His early work caught the attention of Memphis rapper Black Youngsta. That partnership gave him his first real taste of recognition. Proof that the sound in his head could connect with real people. It was a small door, but he walked through it like it was wide open. And then he kept going. But here is the part of Tay Keith's story that most people don't talk about enough. In the middle of all that grinding, the beats, the late nights, the industry meetings, he went to college. He enrolled at Middle Tennessee State University, and he finished. He earned his degree. And when he talked about it in interviews, he didn't talk about his Grammy nominations first. He talked about that diploma. He called it one of his proudest achievements.
My moment was big because I was actually in school and graduating the week that I got my #1. So, you know, I feel like education always been a good thing for me because I was first generation. You know, my mama and daddy, they got trades. You know, my mama did her, my daddy, he did what he did, you know. But as far as like me going to college, ain't nobody else in my family did that. And I feel like I had to make that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I had multiple reasons to go to college, you feel me? So
Right.
that was just like one of my main reasons to motivate me, on top of like my mama getting her Section 8 through me going to school too.
How did your folks feel when you got a #1 and you graduated in the same week too? Like, what was going through that? What did they say when all that was happening?
They
all
was
at the same
proud.
time?
They was proud. They was proud of me. Like, you know.
Think about that. A man with Beyoncé and Drake on his resume, and what made him most proud was finishing school. That tells you everything about who Brytavious Chambers really was. Now let's talk about what Tay Keith built. Because what this young man from Memphis accomplished in a short period of time was not normal. It wasn't just success. It was the kind of rise that makes the entire industry stop and pay attention. It started with a song. In 2018, Blockboy JB dropped Look Alive, featuring Drake. And the moment that track hit, everything changed. Tay Keith's producer tag rang out at the very top of the record, and suddenly, the whole world heard his name. The beat was dark. It was heavy. It had that Memphis DNA running all through it. People couldn't stop playing it. Radio stations couldn't stop spinning it. And just like that, a kid from Memphis had his first major moment on a global stage. But he didn't stop there. He kept delivering for Blockboy JB, producing Rover and Shoot, staying loyal to where he came from, even as bigger opportunities came knocking. And knock they did. Travis Scott called. The result was Sicko Mode.
Hey, hey, she's in love with who I am.
One of the most talked about hip-hop records of the entire decade. That song wasn't just a hit. It was an event. It shifted constantly, moved through different sections, and held millions of listeners locked in from start to finish. Tay Keith's production was a huge part of why that record worked the way it did. The weight of it, the tension, the feeling that something massive was happening. That record earned him his first Grammy nomination. The kid from Memphis was now standing on music's biggest stage. And the calls kept coming. Drake's non-stop.
Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up.
Hard, relentless, exactly the kind of record Drake needed at that moment. Tay Keith delivered. Eminem's Not Alike.
Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up.
One of the most aggressive records the rap legend had put out in years. Tay Keith was behind the boards. Beyoncé's Before I Let Go. One of the most celebrated women in music history trusted him with her sound. He delivered that too. Then came Rich Flex, Drake and 21 Savage's collaborative record that took over every playlist, every party, every speaker system in 2022. That record earned him his second Grammy nomination. And just when some people thought he might be slowing down, he helped launch Sexy Red into the mainstream with Pound Town. A brand new artist, a brand new era, and Tay Keith was right there, proving he could still create a hit from scratch. The business world noticed too. He and his partner Cambrian Strong landed on the Forbes 30 Under 30 music list. Together, they co-founded Dramatized Music Group, a label built to bring the next wave of Memphis talent to the world. By 2025, Tay Keith was not winding down. He was moving faster than ever, which is exactly what makes what happened next so hard to make sense of. Now here is something worth paying attention to. For a man who worked with the biggest names in music, for someone whose beats were playing in every corner of the world, Tay Keith was remarkably quiet about his personal life. In an industry where artists post everything, every trip, every meal, every moment, he chose a different path. He let the music speak. He kept the rest close to his chest. What the world saw was the producer, the hit maker, the young man with Grammy nominations, a Forbes feature, and a contact list that most people in the music business would never even dream of having. But there was another side to him that didn't make the headlines. The young man who walked across a graduation stage at Middle Tennessee State University and felt more proud in that moment than at any award show. The Memphis kid who never forgot where he came from, no matter how far the music took him. The business partner who sat across from Cambrian Strong and built something real, not just a label, but a shared vision for what the future could look like. People who knew him before the fame, collaborators like Blockboy JB, the artist who was there at the very beginning. Those are the people who understood who he really was when the spotlight was off. And when news of his death broke, their pain was immediate and it was public. That kind of grief doesn't come from a business relationship. That comes from something much deeper. So here is the question that this story keeps coming back to. For someone with this much success, this much momentum, this much life ahead of him, what was really going on behind closed doors? Hold on for just a second, because where we're going next, this is the part of the story that nobody has the full answers to yet. But before we get there, what do you think really happened to Tay Keith? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. I read every single one. And if this story is moving you, hit that like button. Help more people find it. Nashville, Tennessee. It's a city that Tay Keith had made his home. Far from Memphis geographically, but he carried Memphis with him everywhere he went. Nashville was where he based his operations, where he built his business, where he lived his day-to-day life away from the noise of the music industry. On Martin Street, he had his apartment. Not a mansion, not a showpiece, just a private space, the kind of place you choose when you are known everywhere, but want to be known by nobody for a little while. A place to breathe, a place to just exist without the weight of being Tay Keith, Grammy-nominated producer, Forbes 30 Under 30, hitmaker, just Brytavious, alone. Private, quiet. That Thursday afternoon, June 18th, 2025, somebody grew concerned. Maybe it was a friend, maybe a collaborator, maybe someone in his family. The public record does not tell us exactly who made the call. And honestly, that detail alone says something. Because it means there was a point where someone in his life realized they hadn't heard from him, that something felt wrong, that the silence had gone on too long. They called for a welfare check. Metro Nashville Police Department officers responded and made their way to his Martin Street apartment. What they found when they got inside stopped everything. Tay Keith was unresponsive. 29 years old, 2 Grammy nominations, a Forbes feature, a degree on his wall, a catalog of hits that billions of people had heard, and he was gone. The Metro Nashville Police Department released an official statement shortly after. It read, "No foul play is suspected. His death is unclassified, pending autopsy results." Now, let's break that down, because every single word in that statement matters. No foul play is suspected. That means when officers arrived and assessed the scene, they found no immediate signs of homicide, no evidence of a physical assault, no signs of a struggle, nothing that pointed to another person being responsible for his death. Unclassified. This is the word that stops you. Because unclassified means exactly that. They could not place his death into any category. Not an accident, not a suicide, not a natural cause, not an overdose, nothing. The cause of death had no label yet. It was simply unknown. Pending autopsy results. That means the answers, if they come, will come from the medical examiner's findings, from tests, from science, from a process that takes time, and that, as of this video, had not yet delivered a public conclusion. Within hours of the news breaking, social media did what social media always does. Theories spread fast. People pointed to overdose. Others brought up alleged legal disputes. Some suggested industry pressure had finally caught up with him. None of it, not one claim, was supported by official information. All of it was speculation, and all of it was being shared as though it were fact. Here's something important to understand about true crime stories like this one. The space between what happened and what we actually know, that is where rumors are born. And rumors, once they spread, can destroy a person's legacy long before the truth ever comes out. As of right now, we do not know why Tay Keith died, and that uncertainty, for the people who loved him, worked beside him, and grew up listening to his beats, is its own kind of grief. Let's be honest about something. We do not know what Tay Keith's final months looked like. We do not know what he was feeling, what he was dealing with, or what was happening in his private world in the days leading up to June 18th. No official source has told us that. And until verified information comes forward, that is where the story stops, because filling that gap with guesswork would be doing him a disservice. But there is something we can talk about, because Tay Keith did not exist in a vacuum. He existed inside one of the most demanding industries on the planet, and that industry has a track record that we cannot keep ignoring. Think about what it actually means to be a top-level music producer. You are expected to deliver, constantly. Artists call at all hours. Label deadlines don't move. Every record you release is compared to your last one. The moment you slow down, someone younger is right behind you ready to take your place. There is no off switch. There is no real rest. You are only as relevant as your last hit, and your last hit was always yesterday. Tay Keith was operating at the very top of that world, and the music industry, for all its glamour and money and award shows, has never been great at taking care of the people who power it. The stories of young artists and producers burning out, breaking down, or dying far too young, those stories are not rare. They are a pattern, a painful, repeated pattern that the industry acknowledges just long enough to post a tribute, and then moves on. We have lost too many young voices in hip-hop before their time. Too many people who had everything on paper and were fighting battles that nobody could see. Which brings up a harder question, one worth sitting with. Are we, as fans and consumers, part of a system that pushes these artists to their limits and then mourns them when those limits are finally reached? That is not a comfortable question, but it is an honest one. What we know about Tay Keith is this. He had 2 Grammy nominations, a Forbes 30 Under 30 feature, a university degree he was proud of, a label he was building, a career that was still growing. He was 29 years old, and he was found alone, not on a stage, not in a studio, alone in his apartment on a Thursday afternoon, while the rest of the world had no idea anything was wrong. It took one person noticing, one person making a call, and in the end, that phone call was how the world found out that Tay Keith was gone. Let's go back to the music for a moment, because before anything else, before the Grammy nominations, before the Forbes list, before any of it, Tay Keith was a music maker, and the music he made is going to outlive all of us. Think about where you were when Look Alive first hit your ears. That heavy, dark beat rolling in, unmistakable. Then, Sicko Mode, a record so big that it didn't just top charts, it became part of the culture. Then, Non-Stop. Then, Not Alike. Then Beyoncé trusting him with Before I Let Go. Then, Rich Flex, taking over every room it entered. Then, Pound Town, introducing the world to a brand new voice, with Tay Keith's fingerprints all over the sound. That is not a catalog. That is a decade of moments, and there was something special that happened every time one of his records came on. Before the first bar, before the first word, his producer tag would ring out, and people knew. They just knew. Something great was about to happen. That feeling, that split second of recognition, that was Tay Keith's signature on the world.
Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up. Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up. Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up.
She's in love with who I am.
Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up. Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up.
Yeah. Ooh.
Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up.
Uh-oh, the game in trouble.
Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up. Tay Keith, fuck these niggas up.
Beyond the music, he was building something bigger. Dramatized Music Group was his way of making sure the next kid from Memphis didn't have to figure it out alone. He was creating a path, opening doors he had to push through himself. He had his Forbes 30 Under 30 recognition. He had his Mitsu degree hanging on his wall, the achievement he spoke about with more pride than any platinum record. And he had people who genuinely loved him. Blockboy JB and others from his circle made sure the world knew that when he passed. That kind of grief is real. That kind of love doesn't come from fame. It comes from character. Tay Keith was a kid from Memphis with a laptop and a vision. He changed the sound of a generation. And at just 29 years old, he was only getting started. This case is not closed. The autopsy results have not been released to the public. The full truth about what happened inside that Martin Street apartment on June 18, 2025, we are still waiting on it. And the moment verified information comes forward, we will be right back here covering every detail. So make sure you are subscribed, because this story is not over. Now before you go, Tay Keith produced the soundtrack to so many of our lives. Drop in the comments and tell me, what is your favorite track he ever made? Let's build a playlist in his honor right here in this community. Share this video. Someone out there needs to hear his story. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.